Yeah? You're going to support Mummy through this? Yeah? I love you too. You supported me the whole time, haven't you? Yeah. Okay. Hi guys. So today I am wanting to talk about a subject of which I thought never in a million years I would record, and never ever like talk about in public, as it's something that I actually struggle with just to talk about in private with close friends in general. So that is about your mental health, and especially during your pregnancy period of time. So a little bit of background about my mental health. It's been amazing for the past 10 years. I've had it really nice and balanced and under control. But before that, between the ages of about 13 to 25, I had really bad depression. It was something that wasn't really talked about in my family, and it was something that, because I think I dealt with it from such a young age, I felt a bit weird, and obviously didn't have friends to discuss with it either. But yeah, so my depression got really bad at about the age of 18, nearly 19, when I did actually try to take my own life at that stage. Thankfully, obviously failed. And unfortunately, that many years ago, the NHS therapy service and mental health service wasn't great. So I think I was put on something like a 12-month wait list to see a therapist, of which actually never happened. But I really wanted to get better, so I just spent lots of years researching and practicing and putting into practice all of the different ways to try and cope with depression. So obviously things like your diet, your exercise, training your brain basically to think a different way, and that type of thing. So yeah, the past 10 years, it has been so good for me, mental health wise, and I never thought that I was going to have a problem again. I was able to cope with any situation. So basically my depression started because of an absolute just self-hatred, and not understanding why I was born, and thinking that it would just be better if I just didn't exist. And that was my daily thoughts, basically. And unfortunately, since about 5 or 6 weeks ago, those thoughts started to come back. So I'm now 23 weeks pregnant with our little baby boy. And I will be honest, it's been really hard the past 5 or 6 weeks to just wake up each day and try to deal with it, and try to just ignore it and try to get on with life. And I suppose I'm making this video really just to let anybody else who's going through this kind of period during pregnancy know that you really aren't alone at all, and that it is normal. So as soon as I started feeling this way, I instantly recognised these feelings, and I was really scared because I didn't want to go backwards. But I'm very good at thinking logically, and understanding that, well, obviously my hormones are absolutely crazy at the moment, and depression is normally caused by like a hormonal imbalance in your brain, so obviously that's going to have an effect. I just had other factors around me as well, which was kind of making me feel a little bit lost during this time, because I'm not in an English speaking country, I did try and find some services on a couple of evenings when I was by myself in English to try and chat to, because I got really pretty bad on some days over the past 6 weeks, because my husband's working away and I've been by myself, and I'll be honest, the only thing that's kept me going is this little munchkin here. I'm thinking about you and looking after you. Even my baby, even though I love him, he wasn't the one that was keeping me going through this time. It was this little boy here. Also here in Czech, we don't really talk about mental health at the checkups for the baby or anything like that. So we see a gynecologist here, not a midwife. So we don't talk about mental health here. It's literally just the physical thing of the baby. Is the baby okay? Is the mum's blood and everything okay? Okay, off you go. And that's it. So I didn't know at all who to speak to here. But I think in the UK, you have a lot more options, because with your midwife, I know that normally you would, she would ask you, or he would ask you about your mental health situation, how you're feeling. And I cannot stress enough, but just be honest and open. If you are struggling, please just be honest and open, because there is things that they can help with, and there are things that they can suggest and prescribe and do for you. And unfortunately, it's a high percentage of women that if they have depression during their pregnancy, it's highly likely for them to also have postnatal depression as well, which obviously isn't something that anybody wants to have to deal with. So the sooner that you get help, the sooner that you just speak to somebody, the better. As I say, I was trying to find places over here to talk to. Unfortunately, there weren't any. I talked to my dog and I meditated, and I just did everything I could to get through those nights when they were really, really bad. I feel like I'm a little bit on the other side of it now. It happened for 5 or 6 weeks, and I still feel a little bit bad now, but I've just recently had some bad news about my granddad, so I think that's kind of had a little effect. But I have felt that now that I'm guessing my hormones are balanced out more, that my depression has balanced out a little bit more as well, and I've been more able to cope with it, which is great. But yeah, so all I can suggest is, if you have a friend, a family member, if you want to do it anonymously, you can online chat to so many different charities now, doing online chat. And I am just so thankful that, even though I don't really talk to my friends about this, I don't talk to anybody about it really, I have had a couple of friends who've just checked in on me and just text me to say like, hey, how are you feeling? And I might completely ignore that part of the message and just ask them how they are. But I think just having that person that I know would be open to me talk to them is really helpful. But it's like taking that step of actually talking. I guess this is my kind of talking now, talking to myself to a camera about it. I'm really impressed that I've not cried yet. But yeah, as I say, this whole thing was just to let all you mums to be, all you postnatal mums, or you giving birth amazing mums, that like your hormones are absolutely screwed at this time. And so if you are feeling any sort of anxiety or depression or any mental health issues, it is so normal. And you're not alone. And all I can suggest is that please just have the courage to tell somebody, because we'd rather you tell somebody